Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. This week we've got a really special show for you, one we've been waiting for just the right time to bring to you. Today you're going to see 4 stories of incredible people who have devoted their lives to making sure you are fed and clothed. These 4 are all 2020 inductees into the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction. These profiles will hopefully help you get to know them like we have, highlighting the best this state has to offer. We begin with Dr. James Barnett, who graduated in forestry from LSU. After nearly 50 years working in the industry, he's recognized globally for his expertise in pine reforestation. Craig Gautreaux shows us how Dr. Barnett helped set the standard for pine reforestation.
James Barnett grew up in the backwoods of Arkansas's Ouachita Mountains. But it was his forward thinking that helped improve the forests of Louisiana and the Southeast. Because he was raised in timber country, Barnett decided he wanted to pursue a forestry degree in college. He turned to the U.S. Forest Service for jobs during the summer to pay for his college education.
So I got a job. The Forest Service advertised they had jobs in northern Idaho. It was an interesting job. We were in camps. You saw no one from the outside world for 3 months. And so any money you made, you saved. And so I made enough money working in the summer to pay my tuition at college.
After graduating from college, Barnett enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard. His assignment had him tendering to navigational aids along the Gulf Coast. After completing his tour of duty, Barnett had a major career decision to make. It was an easy one.
I had some leadership skills and talent, and they thought enough of me to say, well, you can have a career, and sea, obviously, I didn't enjoy being at sea. I get seasick a lot, and so, man, forestry and solid ground sounds good to me.
This choice led to a relationship between Barnett and the U.S. Forest Service spanning more than 50 years. His responsibilities focused on increasing the survivability of seedlings used to replenish areas that had been cut.
Alexandria had a reforestation program in research. So my assigned task when I came was to figure out how to produce seed, overcome dormancy, how to be able to grow millions of seedlings from the seed that we had available.
In the 1950s, America had more than 20 million acres needing to be reforested.
You drive down the road now and you see forest everywhere. And when I went to LSU and I drove through here in 1957, still there was stump forest. And the saying was you could stand on a stump in Alexandria and you look toward Leesville and there wouldn't be a tree.
Barnett understood the importance of maintaining a healthy forest industry because of the many benefits it provides.
They contribute a significant amount to the economy of this state and the whole South. So forests are a big part of our environment, and to me, there's just some aesthetics about this. You drive down the road and you're going through a forest, and you feel good about it, or I feel good about it. I'm going to pull out this one, Faces from the Past. People who are becoming forgotten, and we need to remember.
Although Barnett is retired, he is still actively involved in preserving the history of forestry. He writes historical publications for the Forest Service and devotes much of his free time to the Southern Forest Heritage Museum.
We needed to capture some of that history. So it presented an opportunity for me to, I still had emeritus status, so I could write, and the Southern Research Station agreed to publish. And when my wife died, I desperately needed something to be involved in. And so this has served many purposes for me.
James Barnett has shared a connection to the forest all of his life. His career gave him an opportunity to enhance a place that was very important to him. Barnett's efforts have earned him a place in the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction.
You know, makes me happy, and I feel honored. I love being a research forester, and I love doing what we did. I didn't really choose it, but I was blessed because I got something to do that I was interested in, and in my career I made a difference.
This is not the first honor for Dr. Barnett. He was named an outstanding alumnus of the LSU School of Renewable Natural Resources, and he was inducted into its Hall of Fame in 2015. John Dennison is a third-generation farmer who planted his first rice crop in 1957. Throughout his career as a rice farmer, he helped make the industry more profitable and productive. As Craig Gautreaux shows us, he did that through his involvement on the Rice Research Board, on which he was a founding member.
In many ways, John Dennison has fulfilled a lifelong dream of growing rice and raising cattle. It's a vocation he desired since his early childhood.
From the time I was old enough to get on a tractor, about 6 or 7 years old, I fell in love with the farming operation. Besides everything that was on the farm, were working cattle and driving tractors in the field to help prepare fields for rice growing. And that was, in those days, about all we did was rice and cattle.
But nearly 60 years later, Dennison added another enterprise to his farming operation: crawfish.
Yeah, we're doing 400 acres of crawfish and 400 acres of rice each year. We're going to try to expand that a little bit next year.
With some encouragement from his grandson, Dennison is now involved with wholesaling crawfish, and the business is expanding its reach.
I did not choose to switch into actually fishing operations until I was ready to retire, and I brought in a young farmer who was in the crawfish business, and he wanted to crawfish on my property. My grandson convinced us to go into the wholesale business and to move crawfish into the Texas market, and we chose to do that, and that has been very successful for us since about 2015. Farming has always been a challenge. It's always been ups and downs. Many times the prices did not equal to what our production costs were, and so I had to be very studious in record keeping and knowing where the dollars needed to be put to serve me best.
One of those good times for rice was when a severe drought struck in Asia, which caused global rice stocks to crash.
Rice prices started off at harvest time at $17 a barrel. It moved up very quickly to before harvest was over, rice was selling for $30 a barrel. I ended up selling a major portion of my crop that year for over $30 a barrel. Haven't seen it since, and I don't know if I'll live to see it again. Hope so, because it really put us on a strong footing.
Dennison has held leadership positions throughout his career, including 34 years on the Calcasieu Parish School Board, chairman of the U.S. Rice Federation, and a founder and chairman of the Louisiana Rice Research Board.
I want to give credit for Louisiana Farm Bureau, number one, of keeping us advised and keeping us educated in how to keep up best with government regulation. The second organization I want to commend is the LSU Ag Center and the Rice Experiment Station. I wouldn't be in the business if it wouldn't have been for them, with all the new practices and the better yields and better varieties. So they have played a very, very instrumental part in keeping my business successful.
John Dennison has had a lot of help throughout his career. He gives credit to his wife and children for all of their support and the labor they provided. Dennison says it always helps to have some divine intervention.
But I'll tell you what, my Lord and Jesus Christ has always been there. I feel like that I've had an angel on my shoulder so many times when I'd get in a bind financially, or I'd be out here on the farm and have a near miss on a very serious accident. So I give a lot of credit to the good Lord above for giving me such a blessed life, a wonderful wife, and a wonderful family. Lord, thank you.
Throughout his career, Dennison also encouraged those around him to get involved with issues affecting their industry to help ensure and improve the future of Louisiana farming. Still to come on Twila, we meet more of the 2020 inductees into the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction. Stay with us.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are.
I got a fish! I got a fish!
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
It's a well-known fact that here in Louisiana, sugarcane is more than just a crop. It's a way of life. It creates more than 16,000 jobs across the state and an additional $3 billion boost to our state's economy. And Louisiana's cane families always give back to the communities where we live, work, and play. Louisiana sugarcane, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
Jay Hardwick dedicated 40 years of farming to building a more environmentally sustainable cotton industry. As Craig Gautreaux shows us, he farms with his wife and sons in Tensaw Parish, where he's improved water, air, and soil quality.
Jay Hardwick's path to a farming career is rather unique. His first career involved teaching art at the university level. But by a rather fortuitous set of circumstances, he found himself on his wife Mary's family farm, where the allure of farming engulfed him.
But I think the most stunning thing that's happened is a recognition that so many things are far beyond our control. And in an academic setting that I came from, control is everything. You have an air-conditioned environment, you have students who sit in their seats and so forth, so everything is very predictable. Mother Nature is completely unpredictable, but that's part of the seductive quality of farming that I completely enjoy to this day. I chose a career, but it was by accident that it happened. And I woke up surrounded by it and absolutely love it. I've never thought of it as work.
Somerset Plantation sits in the heart of Louisiana's Delta region in Tensaw Parish. It is home to fertile lands where row crops like corn, soybeans, and wheat thrive. But for Hardwick, cotton is king.
But cotton in particular presented the best fit for us, and it dominates our production along with the grains a bit. But it gives me an opportunity to participate in value-added parts of cotton through the ginning, through the warehousing, through the seed and so forth. It's such a much better program than I have available with grains at this point. So we focus in on that.
It's not that clay is not fertile. It is highly fertile, and our highest cotton yields are coming from clay soils.
Because he didn't come from a farming background, Hardwick knew he had a lot to learn and had to do it quickly. His academic upbringing led him to an academic resource.
And lo and behold, I discovered that there's this great amount of information that's available through the land grant system and federal dollars to help farmers produce and look at the science of it and look at studies and comparison of seed and so forth. Here was a gold mine that would help me to catapult my career and help me overcome some of my weaknesses, which continue to be there, by the way.
The root mass, and that's why wheat and rye are so wonderful.
Hardwick also wanted to be engaged in issues that affect farming away from the fields. He became active in organizations to be part of a process that influences how farms operate in compliance with laws and regulations.
A producer today has to be, in my opinion, for me, to be engaged in the things that surround and impact us in terms of policy, those types of activities that farmers particularly don't care about. But they impact us greatly in terms of farm program development, legislation. I wanted to be part of or involved with those organizations that gave me an idea about where perhaps my future might be headed as a producer and the types of support that may or may not be there agriculturally.
A first pond, so
Somerset Plantation is a family farm, and Jay and Mary's sons, Meade and Marshall, play essential roles. There have been some trying moments, but together they have made it a very successful venture.
But I can tell you that it's just been a great experience. Not without its challenges like a family has, disagreements and so forth, but the fact that they're in their 30s now, and I watched them grow up here, playing the cotton, just and thinking about that, how that's changed, and then driving the cotton picker that makes the bale now, and the things that they're doing financially, and the decisions they're making that go way beyond me, and the thrill I have of watching that happen. I find it hard to communicate that to them. I can't think of a better place I'd rather be in my life than right here. My happiness revolves around that.
Jay Hardwick is not from the South and didn't have farming in his roots. But that has changed throughout the years. And now he considers his induction into the Hall of Distinction as a way of him being accepted by his peers.
But for me, being from another part of the country, growing up in the Southwest, I wasn't born in Louisiana. I feel like this is really my citizenship, that this recognition has made me feel very much part of Louisiana in a way that I haven't been fully before. And so I feel that this is that final kind of recognition for me personally that I'm a part of the Louisiana family, and I certainly accept it most humbly.
Hardwick has won multiple awards for his environmental stewardship and served as chairman of the American Cotton Producers, Cotton Incorporated, and the president of the National Cotton Council. Still to come on Twila, we meet a man who's helped bring better research and practices to Louisiana sugarcane farmers. Stay with us.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
They'll test you, try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. and move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Calvin Viator dedicated his life to education. Some of that happened in a classroom at Nicholls State University, some in the sugarcane fields across South Louisiana. Craig Gautreaux reports on how Viator helped bring giant leaps in technology to the farmers he served.
Calvin Viator has worn two hats throughout his career. One hat involved teaching in the Department of Biological Science at Nicholls State University. The other involved starting a successful agricultural consulting business in the heart of sugarcane country. Both allowed Viator to do what he loves.
I'm happy with both choices. I was fortunate that circumstances allowed me to do both agricultural consulting and college teaching. And I feel blessed that I had this opportunity. Well, at Nicholls, I only signed a 9-month contract, so I was free during the 3 critical months of consulting, and I had other people working for me the rest of the year. But it gave me a unique situation, and I'm happy that it worked out. But I started at age 25 when I came to Nicholls, and some of my students, including Howard Robershaw, were not much younger than I was. Many of them, I'm proud to say, became very active in agriculture, became mill managers, farmers, extension agents, and I run across them all the time. And I like to think maybe I had a little bit to do with that, but sometimes I think they were successful in spite of me instead of because of me. But it's been gratifying to see these. Some of them my clients now also, so beginning to come up.
How much longer you gonna keep doing?
Well, I'm 78. I mean, I probably could keep on.
32 years.
In the consulting business, Viator works with a wide array of clients and differing personalities. He says the job requires not only knowledge related to agriculture, but an understanding of human psychology.
I think that's the biggest challenge in agri-consultants. I tell the younger people, you got to find out what connects with your clients, and it's not always the same. We're proud of the fact that many of our clientele are on their 3rd generation now, so we feel like we've helped them go through generational changes also.
Viator's family has played an integral role in its success. His wife Jeannie handled the accounting duties for a while, which his daughter-in-law Allison now does. His son Blaine plays a major role in the company and is heavily involved in incorporating new technology. It all seems to work.
And there were times when it seemed overwhelming. But with Jeannie's help and the help of my associates, we got through all of that, and I wouldn't do anything else. But it was I'd be lying if I said there weren't some challenging moments. And we went through a lot of bad times with our clients going through bad times. I mean, we experienced the same bad weather they did and felt it 100-fold because we felt for each of them.
Viator's father stressed the value of education, and his father saw it as an opportunity out of the hard-knock life of agriculture. Viator did take his advice in regards to education, but it still led him to a life in agriculture.
I lettered in 3 sports. My father never went to one of my athletic events, but he did go to my high school graduation. Showed you his proud as well. And he didn't know much about master's degrees and PhDs, but he knew he was a step upward, and I think he was proud of it. I think he just wanted us not to go in agriculture with our big degrees, and we did. And at the end, I think he realized we were doing what we wanted to do, and we were happy with our choice.
Calvin Viator got into agriculture not for the accolades, but his love of watching a successful crop grow and his strong ties to the land. And now he finds himself being inducted into the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction.
And I feel just honored to be included in that group. It's a very select group. We have 2 of our fellow consultants, Mr. Ray Young and Dr. Grady Coleman, that were inducted. And I feel honored to be in the company of all these people. And I appreciate the people that were involved in my selection.
Viatar was a charter member of the Louisiana Agricultural Consultants Association and was the group's first president. Congratulations to all of this year's inductees. This is certainly a worthy group which represents Louisiana well and makes all of us proud. And we must share a very special thank you to both Dr. Craig Gautreaux and Randy LeBove over at the LSU Ag Center for putting these stories together and sharing them with us. Craig, Randy, y'all always do great work. If you'd like to learn more about past inductees to the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Now, in case those stories did not put a smile on your face, we're going to finish the show with a story just to lift you up a little. For much of 2020, we have been living through a global pandemic. While the ag industry is deemed essential, farmers and ranchers still deal with their fair share of challenges. But like previous challenges they face, they tackle them head on together. In this week's Twila Boost, Angus TV shows us that by being resilient, we can make it through the tough times together now and in the future.
City streets were quiet this spring. The soft wind and even the tentative presence of wildlife for the first time in ages. A fresh scene of the solitude we've known all our lives. In that shared silence, uncertainty took root.
It's just been a good pause, I think, for everybody to stop and take a look at what matters.
Letters pinned to every post of weathered wood and every family table.
I've probably said more prayers in the last 60 days than I have the 6 years prior to that.
And may so many in chaos be comforted and guided by the speech and gaze of the one who seasoned every storm with face to the wind. All to sit by the fire with grandchildren and tell them when the wind howls, be all right. Storm's gonna pass. Day's gonna break. Hang tight. Then pulls on his boots and gets back to work.
To watch this video in its entirety, because sometimes we have to cut things for the show, we got to fit that time schedule, you can visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when we'll bring you a brand new Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley with a perfect holiday dessert. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. That way you know when we put something new out there. For all of us here at Twila, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.